Want your GT4 to sound like that? Follow along in this video so that you can do the same for yours.
Tools we're gonna basically for this job is gonna be pretty straightforward. Ratchet with a T27 Torx bit, which you can see here, as well as I have on this mini ratchet. And this mini ratchet, you're gonna see in a minute why we have this out. Just some pliers maybe to move some vacuum lines, a pick to pull out the plug, zip ties for securing the wires. All right, so you're gonna go ahead and take off both of these sides. Basically just pull this off. It's gonna unclip. And there's one more clip up here. One important thing to note about these different panels is you will see these little like plug type things. They go on these here. They're actually sound deadeners, so make sure you don't lose those. I have one right here that I gotta put in. But yeah, make sure you don't lose those because that actually will make it so that your interior does not rattle. And everything I'm doing, you're gonna do on both sides, but I'm of course not gonna film everything. Next, you're gonna take this piece off here, and that's gonna allow you access to be able to take this off. Before you do that though, you wanna go ahead and take these two caps off. So you're gonna see those there. That'll allow you to remove this. So next you're gonna remove this here, which is basically covering the seatbelt, and you just basically pull up on the back right here and pop this off. There's gonna be no fasteners for this. But what this is gonna do is it's gonna expose two Torx bolts, one on either side, actually two on either side, to be able to remove this bar here. So let's go ahead and do that next. All right, so after you get the side trim pieces, which you can see here, and then the carpet, as well as that strut brace that I mentioned, the next step is to get the engine cover. And there's, I believe, 12 T27 bolts. Easy enough. I've already got a bunch of them out, but just basically using my ratchet here and bringing those guys up, which is all well and good. See, I have them all right there. However, you'll notice that there is one right there, two up there, and one down there. And no ratchet that I owned will get in there because it basically just needs to be as small as possible. So I ran to good old Harbor Freight and I grabbed a kit here, which has a inset so you can actually put these bits, and then of course I could use my own bits, but it has a nice little carrying case and stuff, so whatever. It's like 30 bucks, I think. So yeah, let's go ahead and get those other bolts out and get this strap moving. Okay, these kind of tools is why tool trucks exist and why mechanics have about 50,000 tools. Who would have thought that I would need something so small to get these bolts out? Okay, so granted, I probably could have taken those out. That's hilarious. So yeah, so if you want to use a regular ratchet, you can just push this to the side. However, that's not going to help you for these two side bolts, so still needed this tiny ratchet. All the bolts are off. Now just give this a little tug. It should not be stuck by anything, and bring out your engine cover and carefully take it out of the car and don't smack your paint. And there we have it, the glorious Flat 6. And she is a little dusty, actually. I think it's pretty safe to say that the GT4 is an engine out kind of deal for any sort of belts or other work. Also safe to say that I will not be doing anything of the sort for a couple of reasons. One, this has a warranty, and two, I do not have a lift. And I can imagine that even a quick jack would not work for something like this. So at any rate, let's get into continuing the installation on this valve controller. All right, this next section's a little hard to kind of film, but I'm gonna do my best and I'm gonna point to some important pieces. So you're gonna see that there's these vacuum lines that kind of just run around all around. What you're gonna do is you're gonna just basically pop up these vacuum lines off of these metal clips, and you're going to disconnect this vacuum line here, comes from right here. Just press in that green connector right there and pull. It's pretty strong. You need to take some force. All I did besides that was I pushed apart these two connectors right here. These two vacuum lines right here and stuffed it under. And that gives me enough space to get down into here and see my cable. So you can see right there, that is the cable, and there is a lock on top. So go ahead and just use a pick and pop that off, and then just lightly place a pick right angle pick right under here and pop it up straight. And this is now your connector where you're gonna plug in the Cargraphic controller. I'm gonna plug this end of the Cargraphic controller into that. And then I'm going to plug this end of the Cargraphic controller with the lock into where I took out that connector right there. All right, now that that is in place, the next step is to go ahead and attach your Cargraphic controller. There is some double-sided tape on the back. You wanna go ahead, this is extremely light. It looks like it's made of metal, but it's actually not. And you're gonna wanna go ahead and push it basically right against that flat spot. And then we're gonna button up these wires. And I think I'm gonna attach them right to this vacuum line because it's a solid surface and it's completely out of the way of anything spinning. There we have it. So there's the whole install. Got that plug plugged in down there. Got this all zip tied up and neat. Got that in there, double-sided taped, so that's all good. Now it's just a matter of putting everything back together. Although because this is my first time doing something like this on the GT4, I want to make sure that I got everything right. So I'm actually going to back the vehicle out of the garage and start it and see how everything works. So I'll show you how this Cargraphic controller works in just a second. I'm not sure how well you can hear me, but having that open like that gives you a race car feel. All right, so this is the normal Porsche setting. And of course I'm getting a ton of intake noise because it's right behind me, but here's with the exhaust open. Oh yes, now let's put the car back together. All right, so everything is in place and everything is working nicely. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put the engine cover and everything else back on. So engine cover is just those T27s. Make sure you got those two in the corners. You need that small ratchet, but other than that, basically installation is the opposite of disassembly. I'm not here how to tell you to do your job or whether you're doing the job properly, but I like to start all screws, fasteners by hand, make nice and snug, but not super snug because I don't want to cause any warping. And I'm basically just gonna go through here and put all these in. See, like that one there, if I had run that with the gun, probably would have stripped because it was slightly on an angle. All right, when putting the carpet back in, you wanna go ahead and make sure that those tie-down clips are visible. If you use them, although honestly I would do it no matter what because you might need them one day and they'll get stuck under the carpet. And then you're just gonna go ahead and tuck it underneath this plastic trim and then over there as well. So let's go ahead and do that next. All right, now that the carpet is in and that plastic is in as well, now we have to put in, I mean, I guess it's technically a strut brace, but it doesn't feel like it's super structural because it basically has T27 bolts. But at any rate, that needs to go in next. Now it's a matter of just putting the rest of the trim pieces on. So first off is going to be the seatbelt trim here. Make sure that you don't end up pinching this gasket here. And you basically just want to go ahead and rest this back on and clip her in place. And just make sure that your belts work because, well, that would suck if it didn't. And then we're gonna quickly do the passenger side. All right, then next up is to put on this piece of trim and it just clips down. So then we put our covers on. All right, and with the magic of editing, the entire car is reassembled. And now that the engine is covered, you don't hear the intake as much, which I don't know, I mean, I kind of like the induction noise, the intake noise, but honestly, the carpet's kind of important. It does tamp it down a lot. A scale of 1 to 10 for this install, the plug for the controller probably being the hardest part, I'd still probably give this like a 5 or a 6, just because you do have to get deep into the car. All right, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Sorry, it's really, really bright here, but yeah, this is all good to go and have a lot of really awesome events coming up. So if you are new here, please subscribe, please like this video, and I'll see you in the next one.